Another rainy day here in South Florida. So, what better time than to go ahead and start tearing down the Copart Rzr. So we've already removed these side fenders. I'm gonna go ahead and start taking the box out, or the bed, or whatever you want to call it, so we can access the motor area. So we'll get the seats out, we'll get this box area out, and then we can start to pull everything off of the motor around it. It's really not a huge complicated process, but I am going to break it down into a few days because this is a pretty busy time for us in the shop and I don't want to get in the way. But I should be able to get everything out right here in this spot. It's not that big of a deal. I ordered a clutch, a primary clutch removal tool, so when that gets here, we'll be able to pull the primary clutch off of the motor. We'll get the secondary clutch off as well. Then we'll separate the motor from the transmission and we'll get it out of here. So first things first, I'm gonna go ahead and remove the exhaust, get the bed off, and we'll just, at least today, we'll get it down to the point where we're ready to pull the motor out. All right, we got the bed off. We got everything kind of coming apart now. Got to pull the throttle bodies off still. And then I pulled the header off. And let's see. I might do, before I pull this out of the frame, I might do a compression test just to see like what we're working with. And you can see inside here, there's just a lot of oil, obviously. That's the exhaust. So a lot of oil coming out the exhaust, which means probably the rings are still probably all messed up. We'll find out. Either way, she's coming apart pretty easily, which is a good sign. I don't think we're gonna have too much trouble. So fingers crossed, we'll keep going. I'm gonna pull the throttle bodies off now, get the oil sump out of here, drain the oil out of it, and I'll spin it over, do a compression test right quick after I get everything off of it, just before I disconnect the starter and get ready to pull the motor. Okay, so I've got the compression tester hooked up. Fuel is all disconnected, fuel pump's disconnected, it's not gonna run, but good thing. But everything's off, the exhaust is off, the throttle bodies are off, so this would be like wide open throttle as well. So let's go ahead and see what kind of compression this thing has on the first cylinder, or the second cylinder, or whatever cylinder that is. Okay, so compression looks good on that cylinder. 180 looks like. Not too bad. All right, now we'll check the other one. Pretty good, 180 on both. So compression's actually good on this thing. Not sure where the problem is and why it's smoking so bad though. So interesting. I guess we'll find out as we tear it down. But in the meantime, I'm going to continue to take the stuff off of it to get the motor down so that I can open it up. Progress update. We got everything basically disconnected now. We're going to take the motor mount bolts out now, which are down here. And after we take the motor mount bolts out, those are the transmission to motor bolts. We're going to take those out first. After we take those out, then we can take the front motor mount bolts out, which are here, 2 here, and 2 there. Then we should be able to cherry pick this motor out, and I'm going to probably roll this thing outside maybe tomorrow, because right now I don't have any help and this thing's pretty heavy. But I'm gonna roll this thing outside and just give it a good pressure wash and just start cleaning everything. And I'll probably just clean down this old motor too. Clean off all the parts. I got a pile going here. So it was a little bit harder than I expected, to be honest with you. I thought it was gonna be cake, but the secondary clutch was basically corroded onto this shaft here. You can see the rust right there. So getting these things underwater is not good for them, clearly. I'm gonna have to check the inside of the tranny and make sure there's no water in there too. But splines look okay, which is good, so I can sand this down, get rid of the corrosion, and reuse this no problem. The transmission seems okay otherwise. Okay, so I've got the cherry picker hooked up. I'm about to pry this motor out of its cradle. Let's see if we can get it out. Obviously, been there a while. That's good. All right. Oh, I know what it is. I see it now. There's a couple of alignment screws that are still in. I'm going to go ahead and remove those and we'll try it again. All right, I got those alignment. They're like a pinch fitting. It's like an alignment fitting for the bolt, and also like pinches the motor in the motor mount. That's why I couldn't get it out. So let's try again. Yeah, there we go. Anything's touching? Nope, for free. Okay. Cool. I'll go ahead and get her out now. All the way. Okay, so as you can see, the motor's out. I'm happy with that. That was a little on the frustrating side, but hey, at the end of the day, as long as you get it done and you just bleed a little, you're doing pretty good. All right, so she's pushed in. I couldn't push it myself. I needed help from this guy. You might remember him. He's the tire guy. Thanks, Paul. I appreciate it. Yeah.
Got you anytime.
So we got the motor out, and I've got it over here by my toolbox now, so I'm going to tear it down tomorrow. I've been talking to a couple of companies, and I've got quite a few people interested in helping us out, and I'll announce that soon. But long story short, here's the motor out, and it looks pretty light, but it really isn't as light as I expected, honestly. It's probably a little heavier than a motorcycle engine. But anyway, plans for this. I'm gonna go big bore. I've decided this is what I'm gonna do. We're gonna do a 90, I believe it's a 96 millimeter big bore. That brings it out to probably like 950 cc's or somewhere in there. That's gonna give us a little bump in power. I don't expect too much. Torque's really the name of the game, as you know, with these things. And we're gonna do some head work, and we're gonna do a set of cams. So this will be a like heads and cams, little big bore. So I'd like to see 100 horsepower, flywheel 100 horsepower. These things start with 88 horsepower. So at the wheel, we're looking at like 60. So if we get anywhere north of 80 horsepower at the wheel, we've hit our goal. And that's gonna be pretty sweet. I don't know if I'm gonna be able to dyno it or not, but we'll give it a try. It's gonna be straight off-road, no bullshit. And that's really the name of the game, off-road with this thing. It's never gonna go on-road. Mud, I'd like to get it deep. I'd like to get it stuck. Hopefully never swamp the motor again though. So stay tuned, and if you guys wanna help out, I am going to be putting out some of this HP off-road merch. I'd like to do some shirts, some stickers, that kind of stuff. We're going to do a limited edition shirt, so stay tuned for that. We'll put it up on the website. And while I'm at it, I'd like to discuss the website because we've got a new feature on the website, and that is the shop. So we've got cars for sale, obviously. We've got contact information, all that good stuff, but we have a shop now, and we are selling parts. So scroll over to horsepowerlogic.com, check out the shop section, look at the parts that we have. It's not a lot, but we are adding stuff constantly. So this is an ever-going project. It's going to continue growing, and if there's anything you'd like that isn't on the website, shoot us an email, info@horsepowerlogic.com. I'm going to set up a new email also. It's going to be shop@horsepowerlogic.com. It's not up yet, but it will be up soon. So look for that, and hopefully we can help you out with all the parts in the future. And I can't wait to get this freaking thing together. So the Copart Rzr is in full swing, and I'm hoping to have the parts for the motor here in the next week or so, and then we can start cracking that sucker. But I am going to tear this down in the meantime because I want to find out what the hell was going on, because had good compression. I suspect the oiling rings were just seized, stuck in the pistons. And that's why it's just blowing tons of oil. And that extra oil that's going into the combustion chamber is horrible because that's taking up a lot of space, and that could cause huge detonation, which ends up doing you know what. Rod knock. Anyway, let's get this thing tore down tomorrow. Stay tuned. Next video, we will have a full teardown of this motor with the cause, the culprit of the failure. Thanks for watching, guys. If you haven't subscribed, subscribe now. And give me a thumbs up or a thumbs down if you don't like the video. I don't care. I'm just putting it out there because that's what I do. And if there's something you'd like to see, or you have any suggestions for me, leave it in the comments. I read them all, and I appreciate them all. So good or bad, doesn't matter. It doesn't hurt my feelings. Don't worry. See you guys in the next one.